To make its way out to the Speedway, Rod and Supply Heat Race number 1. 10 times around, got to be in the top 5 if you want to race directly on into your feature event. '24-car inversion at a qualifying. That's going to put your quick qualifier to the right of row number 3 in heat race number 1. Second quick to the right of the third row in heat race number 2, and so on and so forth. And let's see how it all comes together for Rod and Supply Heat Race number 1. Driving the poles out of Terre Haute, Indiana, driving the Maddox Heating and Cooling Pro Source. Crespin Power DRC number 28 is going to be Brandon Maddox. Lining up next to him, going to be Jaden Rogers. Rogers coming to us out of Worthington, Indiana, driving the Midwest Downhill Service. Shane Wade Enterprises. Amati Racing, Cheryl's Pest Control, number 66. Next row from the inside is going to be Kayla Rell. She's out of Dillsboro, Indiana, driving the Clark Home Services, Stanton Powered Ripper Chassis, Davis Brothers Southern Insurance, KO Motorsports, number 5K. And to her right, another KO Motorsports ride. This one driven by Chase Stockin out of Fort Branch, Indiana, driven the Bandit Ag Fisher DRC Chassis, Amsoil, Daywig Meats, number 5S. Next row from the inside, your current points leader out of Sutter, California, driving the Honest Abe Roofing and PV Express Stanton DRC Chassis, number 57. It'll be Logan Seavey. And tonight's Honest Abe Roofing quick qualifier for the 15th time in his career at Raisin City, California, the AME Electrical, Pacific Valley Transportation, Walker Filtration, Stanton Spike, number 19 AZ. That is Mitchell Moles. Final row from the inside in 7, it's going to be Sam Scott, the Patoka, Indiana driver, the England Machine and Tool Cummins DRC Chassis, number 7S. And your final starter set to be Kendall Rubel out of Vincennes, Indiana, driving the Brad Arthur Heating and Air. JR1 Racing Oil, Spec Power, DRC Chassis, Martin's Auto Care, number 17. As that'll be your scheduled lineup here for Rod and Supply Heat Race number 1 of 4 tonight with the USAC Angelo Sprint Car National Championship. Again, 10 times around, top 5. Going to move on directly into your feature event. Christy Bem is joining me up in the booth as well. And Christy, last night some pretty interesting racing going on down at Circle City. And they've come out, they've reworked the track. We'll see how it lines up here for Heat Race number 1.
Yeah, I'm certainly interested to see how this plays out. As we saw in qualifying, quite a bit of character in the racetrack, and obviously they went out, tried to correct some of that and get things smoothed out just a bit, but sometimes character is what forces these race car drivers to lean a little bit more on talent or on experience than it does on their equipment, and that's when we get some of the greatest racing that we see sometimes. So not a bad thing either way. You know, we're good either way up here, so it's more so what those guys are able to do with the cards they're dealt down there.
As we go into yellow flag conditions, let's check in with Drake.
Thank you so much, Brian. Able to talk to a couple of teams back in the pit area, and 2 of them that had issues either during dirt draft hot laps or during Honest Abe Roofing qualifying. Let's start with Jaden Rogers, who's going to start on the outside of the front row for this first heat. Jaden, of course, had that small issue during dirt draft hot laps. Super quick. They were actually able to fix it in time to come out for the next session of dirt draft hot laps. He's going to go and starting from the outside of the front row. Chase Stockin had motor issues in Honest Abe Roofing qualifying and really flare up on corner entry to turn 1 and turn 3. And Chase told me when that car was practically torn apart, he said, look, we're going to try to fix it to the best of our ability. We can't promise it'll run, but we'll definitely make it out for the heat race. Keep an eye on the 5S. He starts 4th.
Thank you very much. Toyota Racing Development Pace Truck going to make its way down into the infield. Don't forget, stop by the USAC merchandise trailer for a chance to take a ride in that machine with our Amsoil inside the oval before tonight's feature event. Pass the DOS Energy start. Can we go? Rod and Supply Heat Race number 1 goes to green. Good jump for the outside for the 66 of Jaden Rogers. We'll see if he can hold it around to the back straightaway. He does. 3 wide for the 3rd spot. Here comes the AME Electrical number 19 right up the middle.
Mitchell Moles has talked about both nights so far on this weekend, how difficult it can be to overcome that Honest Abe Roofing fast qualifying position. He's making quick work of Simpson Race Products Heat Race number 1 to try and get himself to the front of this one and better things for later on in the feature event.
You talk about a track with character, sometimes offering up drivers' talent to really put it on display. He did that during Honest Abe Roofing qualifying as he went 8th quick on lap number 1, jumped to quick time on lap number 2, and right now he is knocking on the door of the race lead here on the back bumper. Jaden Rogers looking to the high side through turns 3 and 4.
That's not an easy car to pass, as Jaden Rogers is an Amsoil USAC National Sprint Car winner here at Tri-State Speedway, but sure does make it look easy for Mitchell Moles, who's now your leader at Simpson Race Products Heat Race number 1.
Jaden going in, backing her up just a little bit too much in the middle of turns 1 and 2, nearly over-rotated the car. Likewise does it again off of turn number 4. The car really pinned it down to the right rear and able to launch there, so he pins off the charge potentially from Chase Stockin. Kayla Rell running it 4th right now. Logan Seavey with the final transfer up into the feature event, trying to gain some insurance here, going after Rell as he looks to the inside through turns 3 and 4.
Chase Stockin beginning to pick up quite a bit of speed. He now closes on the 66 of Jaden Rogers. Chase Stockin, a 2020 winner of the Haubstadt Hustler right here at Tri-State Speedway. Tons of experience and tons of success here with that team. So Chase Stockton certainly looking to move things forward.
Looking for an improvement over last year. Ended up finishing 12th. Had to do it from the 21st starting spot 1 year ago. And right now, sitting in a much better position. Does not have to try to fight his way in out of an Elegance Custom Trailers Kart semi-feature event. Holds on to that third spot. Rel so far fends off the charge of Logan Seavey. Kendall Rubel, Brandon Maddox, and Sam Scott currently running out your running order. Brandon Maddox started up on the pole. This one getting shuffled back quickly as Mitchell Moles, well, he gone.
Yeah, so Mitchell Moles just coming across the line with 2 laps to go. He's got nearly a 3-second lead over second place of Jaden Rogers, who has got Chase Stockton right in tow. The white flag coming out for Mitchell Moles.
Lap coat's going to fly as your leader works around to the front straightaway. Next 4 drivers off of turn number 4 as caution for Maddox. So this, as they say in the movies, could change a few things.
I didn't quite see what happened with Brandon Maddox there, but he does come to a slow start down in turns number 1 and 2 and comes to a stop on the backstretch ultimately.
So he will flip the visor up and running up to see if that car needs to go into gear or not when they rock it back and forth. If you're new to sprint car racing, there's no transmission, there's no starter, there is no fan, there's no clutch. It's a direct drive system with a quick change rear end, and sometimes they have to kind of rock the car a little bit in order to kind of synchronize everything and so it can drop down in gear. As you can tell, though, she is out of gear and rolling freely. They will clear the car from the speedway. He will exit stage right. And safety crews are going to get back into their appropriate positions. Furrowed green flag shown here on the front straightway. Next time by, expect the green to come back out. 2-lap dash to the finish. Mitchell Moles in command. Jaden Rogers in second. Chase Stockton in third. Kayla Rail, Logan Seavey. Those 5 drivers right now sitting in transfer spots.
And Logan Seavey, the driver who has to mind his P's and Q's here to fend off Kendall Rubel to make sure that he gets himself punched in to tonight's 40-lap main event.
Another driver 1 year ago that had to kind of dig his way out. Started 20th, finished 11th in last year's feature event. He's going to have Kendall Rubel coming to his inside here. 3 wide onto the back straightaway. That's going to be the fight for the 4th, 5th, and 6th position. Right now, advantage to Kayla Rail. Seavey still right there to the wave of the white flag and 1 to go.
So Logan Seavey fighting for all he's worth, trying to get by on Kayla Rell and just trying to make sure that Kendall Rubel stays behind him. He's going to have 1 more corner to hold that spot down as Mitchell Moles comes to the checkered flag.
It's going to drop at the front straightaway, and it will be Moles picking up the heat race win. Jaden Rogers in second, Chase Stockton in third, Kayla Rail. Logan Seavey does hold on for the final transfer spot. Kendall Rubel, great attempt on the restart. Comes up shy, though, in the 6th position. Sam Scott and Brandon Maddox, unfortunately, a DNF in the number 28. But your winner in Rod Supply Heat Race number 1 comes here to Raisin City, California. The AME Electrical, Pacific Valley Transportation, Walker Filtration, number 19 AZ. Race fans, give him a hand, Mitchell Moles. As we go down trackside to Drake.
7th heat race win on the season for the driver out of Raisin City, California, Mitchell Moles. And Mitchell, I imagine fast time anywhere you go gives you pretty sky-high confidence, but I know the last 2 nights you have really been a little apprehensive heading into the heat races about starting all the way back in the 6th spot. But now that you're able to charge to the front and get a heat race win after starting 6th, is it safe to say his confidence is sky-high?
Yeah, I mean, I have some confidence, but honestly, my guy just gave me a really good car. You can only do so much as a driver, and when your car's really good here, it helps a lot. So hats off to my guys. They've been doing a great job this whole year, and I think we're finally starting to put it together here. I think this thing's going to shape up here pretty good. It's starting to go away a little bit there. The grease is starting to blow off, and it's starting to clean up a little bit. So I think after 4 of these heat races, we get a B-main going and all this. I think this thing's going to put on a hell of a show for the fans, and we'll be in the mix here. So hopefully we can keep it that way.
Mitchell Moles after a clean sweep here tonight, and not to mention a $20,000 payday if he can do it. And he's trying to be 1 spot better than he was here during sprint week.
Thank you very much. Heat race number 2 going to be brought to you by Simpson Race Products. Driving the poles at Bedford, Indiana, driving the Auto Credit Airmaster Heating and AC Cummings DRC number 24M. That will be Hunter Maddox. Outside him is going to be Brady Bacon at Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. The JB Oilfield Construction and Supply. Ryder XXX number 69. Next row for the inside, Hayden Reinbold at Gilbert, Arizona. The AME Electrical, Levante Windows and Doors, Indy Race Parts number 19. And outside of him in 21, that'll be Jason Pursley at Locust Grove, Oklahoma. The Apache Transport, Auto Strap Shock, Amsoil number 21 AZ. Next row from the inside, it'll be Carson Short. He's out of Marion, Illinois, driver the Auto Wheel and Rim. DRC Spec Power number 21M. And outside of him, last night's winner up at the Circle City Raceway out of Princeton, Indiana. Driver the Avante Windows and Doors, Stanton Mach 1 Chassis, Apache Transport, Petty Performance number 3P. That will be Kyle Cummins. Eric Gentry out of Robards, Kentucky, driver the G-Nick Construction. Spec Power DRC number 10. Going to go from the inside of row number 4. And your final starter is set to be Nathan Seal of Farm Branch, Indiana, driven the Maxim Chevrolet Seal Racing at number 1S. As that'll be your scheduled line of 4. Heat race number 2. And getting word, Gentry is going to be a no-show here in heat race number 2.
So the driver rolling off from the inside of row number 3 on this one, Carson Short. He's got 1 AMSL USAC National Sprint Car victory. He's got 1 World of Outlaws Sprint Car victory, and they both came right here at Tri-State Speedway.
Back in 2016, so it's been a minute since he went to victory lane here with the USAC AMSL Sprint Car National Championship. Finished 14th here in August, was 20th last year in the Haubstadt Hustler. Does have a win on the season with the Midwest Thunder 410s. That was June 15th up at Red Hill. So we'll see what he can do here. Rolling 1 shy, again Gentry. Not able to make the call as we come around to the NOS Energy start can into the green.
Speaking of Carson Short, he gets to the inside of Hayden Reinbold on that straightaway for lap number 1, and now he rides in the 3rd position, but the yellow will come out.
No good on that one. A little bit tap of the tires at the back of the field. The Avante windows and doors number 3 and the 1 came together a little bit over in turns 1 and 2. Everybody continues to roll, and man, if you're Short, you did not want to see that one come back.
No, he certainly did it, but I was just mentioning he's starting on the inside of row number 3, or he was initially slated to start in that position, which means he qualified 6th, which also means that if all goes well, he would start on the pole of tonight's main event.
And he's the one that jumped it. So getting on the gas just a little bit too soon, and can't blame a guy for trying as they work up into number 4. We try it again.
So Brady Bacon going to dive down into turns number 1 and 2. Hunter Maddox kind of slips up the racetrack, and there's contact, as you mentioned, at the back of the field.
Short into Seal. And Seal goes barking around over in turns 1 and 2 and comes to a stop.
So we're still looking for 1 lap to be completed in Simpson Race Products heat race number 2 here. So those guys on the front row, Brady Bacon and Hunter Maddox, giving it everything they've got, and they've tried just about everything in the playbook so far. Here's a replay for you.
So drone overlooking here and seeing going in and just sliding up and getting to the left sides of the 1. So Seal able to refire. He will drop to the tail end of the field, and Carson's going to go right back to where he started in all this.
No harm, no foul.
Maybe.
Well, depends on who you ask. So we'll try it again. 3rd time's the charm. That's what they say.
I've heard it a few times. We'll see if it rings true here as we go back to green.
Another great start for the Macho Man. Brady Bacon gives down into turns number 1 and 2. Much better start there for Hunter Maddox, who rotates pretty well through the corner that time.
Nearly 3 wide of the back straightaway, deep in the pack here. Everybody trying to fight their way up into a transfer spot early. Still 3 wide around to the front straightaway. Short. Going to thread the needle off of the bottom. Goes up, grabs the 3rd spot as they come around to cleat lap number 1. Going to set his sights on Hayden Reinbold, but up front, Brady Bacon says bye, Felicia. He's going to go ahead and run away from the field for the time being.
Hayden Reinbold rides in that 2nd position. He's in danger from Carson Short. His teammate Mitchell Moles has been lights out all night so far at Tri-State Speedway. Carrying some of that same speed, he begins to pull away from Carson Short.
Working the bottom side of the speedway. Bacon up on the outside. Comes around to click off lap number 3. Reinbold holds on to 2nd. He's got Carson Short breathing it down his neck. He got Kyle Cummins trying to close in on that battle as well. Dayson Pursley currently riding in the 5th, the final transfer spot. You got Hunter Maddox and Nathan Seal currently running at your running order.
Kyle Cummins trying to make up some ground on 3rd running. Carson Short beginning to run just a lane higher than what Carson Short is running on entry at turns number 1 and 2. We'll see what he does in 3 and 4.
He's going to go ahead and look high once again over in the 3rd and 4th turns. Not quite as high as he saw last time. Bringing it down a little bit more towards the middle. That allowed the 21 AZ of Dayson Pursley to kind of make up some ground on him there. Pursley this time going to enter to the middle and then let us swing out wide onto the back straightaway as we check back up front. Brady Bacon continuing to lead in 69.
Yeah, that's about a 2.5-second lead for Brady Bacon, who gets down the backstretch, and that car just looks so fast. He did have some trouble in qualifying, navigating some of those more treacherous parts of the racetrack, but it seems like he's adjusted for that, or maybe the racetrack's adjusted for him.
Talked about the work that they did post-qualifying, and you see not nearly as choppy as what we saw in qualifying. You said the track had a little bit of character, really had the drivers up on their heels a little bit, maybe caught a few of them off guard. And Brady right now dominating this one at 2.939 seconds with the white flag set to come out this time, and he's about to find the back of the field.
And this is what Brady Bacon wanted to see, being able to try and make up some of those points on Logan Seavey that he's vying for that 5th AMSOIL USAC National Sprint Car Championship. And qualifying the way that he did today, not exactly what you need if you're trying to win a championship.
Boy, nearly ran into the back of the lap car off at turn number 4. Seal up the racetrack. Bacon down to the bottom. And he's going to avoid the seal as he was swimming all over the racetrack. Problems for Short. Coming to a stop, exiting turn number 2. So that's going to be a major blow to his run as he was up there challenging, running that 3rd spot. Unfortunately, comes to a stop. Did not see what might have caused it. But Hayden Reinbold unofficially in 2nd. Kyle Cummins in 3rd. Dason Pursley in 4th. Carson Short being shown in 5th. That is unofficial. Hunter Maddox and Nathan Seal running at your field. But your winner, ladies and gentlemen, he will make his way down into the infield tonight piloting the JB Oilfield Construction and Supply number 69. Race fans, give him a hand. Brady Bacon down trackside.
The Macho Man picks up his 9th heat race win on the season. Of course, last year's Haubstadt Hustler winner, and Brady obviously qualifying, not what you were hoping for at all, but this heat race win really salvages your night. So you're going to start about 8th-ish on the field tonight. Obviously trying to defend the Hustler win from last year. First off, do you have the car to do it? And second, do you think you're going to be able to make your way to the front?
Yeah, we always race really good here and just can't qualify to save our lives. So last year the format was different. We didn't have to qualify, so we got to start on the front. This year just couldn't put 2 laps together. It was really tricky and different than it normally is. So kind of getting back to normal now. It seems like it's still fluffed up in spots, but I think the more they work it, the kind of smoother across it'll be and more Haubstadtish.
Brady Bacon feeling really good heading into tonight's 40-lap feature event, trying to defend his win of a year ago.
And all we want is for things to be Haubstadtish. That's all we're asking for. Somebody trademark that.
That needs to go on his next shirt. Ciciana, do it. Or the Brady Bacon line of Crocs.
That could be the next giblet.
That could be it. Thank you to Kelly and Ciciana. They educated us yesterday on that. So
We
there you
learn
go.
something every day.
Things on your 2024 bingo card you never thought you'd hear.
Hashtag never stop learning.
There you go. TJ Ford's heat race number 3. We'll begin to fire. Joey Amantia to Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania. The JP Masonry, Newman Triple X number 88J going to be the pole. This one outside of him, it's going to be Cale Drake at Collinsville, Oklahoma. The Odyssey Roofing, Pendleton Farms, Claxton DRC chassis number 2B. Next row from the inside, it'll be Matt Westfall at Pleasant Hill, Ohio. The Ray Marshall Motorsports, Buckeye Machine Fabricators. Hippie Waterworks Filters number 33M. And from the 4th starting spot, it'll be the driver to Bedford, Indiana. It's Brady Short, driver of the Edwards Motorsports Spec DRC. Auto Wheel and Rim number 61M. Justin Grant set to line up 5th in this one. He's out of Ione, California, driver of the NOS Energy Drink, Boat Foundation, MPV Express, Kessler Maxim number 4. And to his right, well, you want to talk about USAC national wins here at Haubstadt. Well, look to the top of the charts. You'll find Kevin Thomas Jr. at Coleman, Alabama. The Inferno Armor Lynch Machining Stanton Mach 1 chassis number 3R, a 7-time winner here at this facility, 4-time winner of the Haubstadt Hustler. Going to go from the 6th starting spot. Nate Shank in Santa Rosa, California, the Lawson Rocket Oil. Hutchinson DRC number 1. Going to go for the inside of your final row, and your final starter slated to be Austin Hawkins out of Sumner, Illinois. Driver the Max Performance Fuels one-way DRC chassis. Leary Shock Technology number 5A. As that'll be your scheduled line of 4. TJ Ford's heat race number 3. So Joey Amantia, we talked about it yesterday. We went down for the Wingless Short Track Nationals, and they stayed behind here in Indiana, had to regroup, rebuild, and test a few things. Walked away with a pair of 4th-place finishes in local competition 1 week ago. Rallies back to a top 10 last night, 9th at Circle City. So we'll see what he can do here from the pole. And, oh, by the way, picked up a heat race win yesterday.
Yeah, so it seems like staying back kind of worked out for him.
So able to get things back rolling in the right direction possibly here past the NOS Energy start cam. And the field going to work around onto the back straightaway, and nope, not going to happen. And Cale Drake going to get called on the jump for the outside again, as even as possible when they come around to that NOS Energy start can. That is the firing point for that front row. So Amantia holds on to the pole. Now the 33M of Matt Westfall going to advance up to the outside of the front row. Short going to go to 3rd, and the 2B going to drop back to 4th here on the restart. Off at turn number 4, we try it again.
Kevin Thomas Jr. immediately out wide, trying to make anything happen and get himself into a good position as he heads into turns number 1 and 2. He does so. He now sits fourth.
Seeing if he can pick up a couple of more as they work into turns 3 and 4. Works around the bottom side of the Speedway. Keep an eye on the Inferno Armor number 3. He was up to 4th on the back straightaway. He's up to 3rd around to the front straightaway. He's looking for 2nd. Right now, Westfall going to hold him off for the time being. Grant going to take a look at him as well. He's going to adjust lines over into turns 3 and 4. Is up front. It will be Brady Short. Out to the front of the field. Problems for Amantia.
Yes, that was a 360 for Joey Amantia. Got into turns number 3 and 4. Snapped it just a little too far sideways, and around she went.
An illegal U-turn. Over in turns 3 and 4 is going to send him to the back of the field.
Doesn't count if his phone told him to do it.
Google can get you in trouble. There is no doubt. He says Google knows everything. No, she doesn't. And it is not a defense.
Have you tried? No comment?
No. That whole not incriminating to yourself thing.
Something like that. Fifth Amendment or something?
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, from constitutional law, let's go back to green here. 61M of Brady Short takes back off of the race lead. Battle for the 3rd spot. Here comes Justin Grant to the inside. He's going to take away from the Inferno Armor number 3. The NOS Energy number 4 down to the bottom. Does he have the run for 2nd? Not quite.
Yeah, so Justin Grant gets by Kevin Thomas Jr. on that restart lap there, and then gets into turns number 3 and 4 and has to chalk it up a little bit, which causes Kevin Thomas Jr. to have to search for a way around. They both lose a little bit of ground about Westfall.
So Grant tried the bottom last time. He goes more to the middle this time. Right to the back bumper of the Ray Marshall Motorsports number 33M. Short slides into turn number 1. Man, that rear bumper got awfully close to the left front of the 33M. Basically told him, well, you can lift or you can get some airfare miles here. And the 4 is going to take off of that 2nd spot. Westfall back to 3rd. Kevin Thomas right there. Caution flag. And we got one coming to a stop over turn number 1. That is the 1 of Shank.
And so when we come back to green next time, Justin Grant's in a completely different position to perhaps have a look at the lead against Brady Short, who's been kind of lights out so far.
So Grant from the 5th starting spot. Remember, Moles won from 6th. Grant trying to do it from 5th. Caution lights will go dark. Getting word from Studio 56, they were looking at a replay earlier from when Amanti went around, and they said in the replay he actually did have a little bit of help with the back bumper from the number 1. And now Shank, our most recent caution.
So a lot to see at the back of this one.
So we'll see what happens at the front now. Again, Grant in a good position to try to maybe get a jump on the race lead. He's going to go ahead and dive to the bottom. He entered wide, swung it down low, over-rotates off of turn number 2, gets it back underneath him, but Short going to take back off of the race lead.
I mentioned on that last green flag stretch there that Justin Grant had over-rotated just a little bit, which cost him some time, but then he did the same thing, which got him past Matt Westfall. So it's a little inconsistent, but it has worked for him so far, and he's looking past Brady Short right now.
One of those that depends on where he does it. He's going to throw the slide over in turns 3 and 4. That time, he's going to force Short onto the brakes. Short's going to come to the inside, though, but the advantage will be to Grant by 0.03 of a second. Battling nose to tail onto the back straight, but they'll fly the front end this time into turns 3 and 4. Grant back down to the bottom, slide across the nose of the 61 for the lead. Does he have it this time? He does. It's Grant to the race lead with 3 to go.
Brady Short not going quietly into the night. He chose not to protect against Justin Grant on the bottom side of the racetrack. Grant chooses the opposite. He protects in turns number 1 and 2 and here in 3 and 4.
So he's going to dive low, exit wide. It's going to be Grant leading, Short in 2nd. Kevin Thomas Jr. in the meantime has snuck up into that 3rd spot. Matt Westfall back to 4th. Cale Drake currently occupies the 5th position. He's got Amantia working on him through turns 1 and 2 as they come around to the wave of the white flag. We got 1 to go in this one.
Justin Grant takes it into turns number 1 and 2. Brady Short running a very similar line. Kevin Thomas Jr., however, on the bottom side of the racetrack trying to make up some speed to get himself into a better position. He's going to have one last look at Brady Short, not going to get it done.
Checker flag to drop in this one for the NOS Energy drink number 4. Justin Grant. Brady Short going to cross in 2nd, and problems for Shank again. He is going to come to a stop over in turn number 4. So Brady Short in 2nd, Kevin Thomas Jr. in 3rd, Matt Westfall in 4th, and the 5th driver moving on unofficially is going to be the 2B of Cale Drake. But your winner, ladies and gentlemen, he comes to you out of Ione, California, piloting the NOS Energy Drink Boat Foundation MPV Express. Max at number 4, race fans, give him a hand, Justin Grant. Let's go down trackside.
Making a dozen heat race wins on the season for the Ione, California native, JG Justin Grant. 3-time USAC National Sprint Car winner here, still chasing after a Haubstadt Hustler. And Justin, this car has been wild all night, start to finish, and Honest Abe Roofing qualifying was bouncing up and down the corners in this heat race a couple of times. We saw it bounce a couple of times and over-rotate a little bit off a corner exit. So how much of that is the racetrack compared to maybe your setup? Are you guys trying to be aggressive with setup, and maybe that's what's causing some of these imperfections, if you will?
Yeah, it's kind of a little, track's got a little bit more character than it usually does tonight. It's a new car that we ran at SmackDown, so not sure if it's a little bit of the character in the track kind of exposing some things, or if it's car's a little livelier, a little newer, and it's got a little more pop, but it's certainly a little radical there. It wants to hit the rear tires really hard, and trying to get it, the heat race there just worked on my shocks, trying to get it to fire straight when it did want to fire, and got a little better there at the end. We'll keep working on it, and drove by some good cars there, so hopefully we'll be able to go in the feature.
Jeff Walker told me after qualifying he was doing everything he could to settle this thing down for Justin, and they'll go back to the pit area and try to get it a little nicer for tonight's 40-lap feature event.
Thank you very much. As Car IQ Heat Race number 4 staging out to the Speedway. Driving the pole, this one's out of Jasper, Indiana. Driving the Klotz Lubricants, R. Keith Rooney Dentistry, Williams Power, Triple X number 76. It's going to be J.J. Hughes. Outside of him, you'll find Dustin Beck. He's out of Petersburg, Indiana. Driving the A&T Concrete Supply, Jack's Wax, Spec-Powered, Maxim Bennett Enterprises, number 75. Next row from the inside at 15, Carson Garrett. He's out of Littleton, Colorado. The Altos Power Equipment, Hornbeck Concrete, One-Way DRC Chassis, number 15. And outside of him, well, throw an X on it, you got C.J. Leary to Greenfield, Indiana. The Altos Power Equipment, Valvoline, Hornbeck Concrete, Highsmith Guns, number 15X. Third row inside line, the Madman, Robert Ballou to Rockland, California. The Suburban Subaru, Deaton's Waterfront Services, Don DRC, number 12. And outside of him, Gunnar Setzer out of Columbus, Indiana. Driving the Bandit Ag, Davis Brothers, Superior Truck and Trailer, Amsoil, number 5G. Final row from the inside, the DRC Chevrolet Lucas Oil Center, CB Designs, K1 Race Car number 4B of Donnie Brackett at Fort Branch, Indiana. And your final starter comes to you out of Marion, Illinois, the Orthodontic Associates, Dave Dennis Racing Engine, J&J Chassis, Pure Cool, Owensboro RV number 2J, that is Colton Booten. As that'll be your lineup again for Car IQ Heat Race number 4.
But what a weekend it's been so far for Gunnar Setzer, who sits 6th in this 4th heat race, which means, of course, he qualified 4th in Honest Abe Roofing qualifying.
Second night in competition with the USAC Amsoil Sprint Car National Championship, the driver of the number 5G. He was here during Labor Day weekend, ran 9th. So coming up out of the micro ranks, we've seen him compete with the Hart Series here in Indiana, with the Dirt 2 Media National Open Wheel 600 Series, in competition full-time this year in Power I, as well as select events with the Extreme Outlaw Midgets. He's currently 2nd in Power I standings.
And of course, KO Motorsports, the team that he's driving for, has a ton of experience and a ton of success right here at this racetrack. So those two things combined, I'm really excited to see what he's able to do as far as this heat race goes, and potentially locking himself into 2 in a row with the Amsoil USAC National Sprint Cars.
Last night's Inferno Armor Fire Move of the Night recipient. We'll see what he can do. But right now, J.J. Hughes on the pole. This one going to bring him around past the NOS Energy start. Can we go to green?
Oh, big contact between Carson Garrett and Gunnar Setzer.
Now KR Motorsports going to have their work cut out for him, as that was an absolutely vicious ride. Contact between himself and the 15.
It seemed like perhaps they just both ran out of real estate coming into turns number 1.
So safety crews on scene, and right now waiting for word on the driver. So Gunnar Setzer up and out of the car after an absolutely wicked ride on the entrance of turn number 1 here on the start. So safety officials are going to give him a little bit of assistance here as they head over to the ambulance. They're going to go ahead and check him out. And race fans, I know you already clapped, but make some noise for that young man. He has put on a whale of a show so far this weekend. So safety crews clear of the scene. Drake York down trackside.
Well, Brian, as we're getting a look here at Gunnar Setzer's car, everything on the front end pretty much destroyed, and got a look at the rear end, and everything structurally looked okay on Gunnar Setzer's car. The tail tank crushed in a little bit, but good news is it did not get to the bladder, so it's just the shell that is pushed in. A little bit of fluid put down here on the racetrack, so safety team's going to attend to that, but hope all the best for Gunnar Setzer as the safety team's still checking him out in the ambulance, but good news is he was helped to the ambulance with some assistance from the safety crew.
So unfortunately getting shortened up about 1.5 feet there at both ends.
And that's just heartbreaking for Gunnar Setzer, as we were just saying. He was having a pretty career highlight weekend here with the AMSL USAC National Sprint Car Series. Put it in the show last night at Circle City Raceway. Was on his way to a pretty successful night here so far, and just some contact there that's going to end his night.
So that has implications on the lineup.
It certainly does. Care to elaborate?
So again, remember your top 6 qualifiers, if they transfer on, that's going to be your top 6 starters inverted. So Gunnar Setzer, who was 4th fastest, well, that's going to allow a couple of drivers who qualified outside of the top 6 to potentially make their way up into those first 2 rows. And remember, Short, in his heat race, he was another one that had qualified up there, ended up with the DNF. So this opens the door for the 7th and 8th place qualifying drivers to potentially get up and take a spot in the front row.
So 7th place was Justin Grant in Honest Abe Roofing qualifying, which means that he's already transferred, so that's looking pretty promising for him. Obviously, this is all unofficial. 8th place in Honest Abe Roofing qualifying, Robert Ballou, who's in this heat race for Car IQ Heat Race number 4. So as long as he puts together some good laps here and gets himself transferred, things might be looking up for him.
Robert, a winner here in July of 2022. 1 year ago, had a rough outing here in the Haubstadt Hustler, ended up with a 22nd place finish. 10th place run last night up at Circle City. He's gone to victory lane 8 times this season. One of those with the USAC AMSL Sprint Car National Championship. That was back on May 3rd at Eldora, and it was an exciting finish, to say the least. Now, Robert did pick up a win here over Labor Day weekend. In fact, he swept the weekend with the Midwest Under 410. He went to victory lane at Red Hill, and then the following night got the win here at Tri-State.
And just as a quick reminder, so if we do have a front row that looks like Justin Grant and Robert Ballou, this is hypothetical because Robert Ballou still has to get through this heat race, of course, but if we do have a front row that's Robert Ballou and Justin Grant, then we're talking Nos Energy Drink Hoosier trifecta once again.
Remember, only one driver is eligible to pick up the bonus. You win all 3, 20 grand.
That means that if Justin Grant starts on the front row tonight at Tri-State Speedway,
Yeah.
and he's able to put that thing in victory lane, he's 2 for 2, and there's only one left.
Remember last year, once we got to Lawrenceburg, it was kind of a done deal. Everybody had taken themselves out of contention. Well, tonight, we're going to see how this plays out, and can Grant maybe line himself up to end up pocketing out of 3 races $100,000. Remember, it's winnings plus the bonus.
And I'll just say that wouldn't surprise me.
And just like the ring, there could be only one. So a complete restart coming up. Hughes in the 76. 6th place finish in this event 1 year ago, back in August. Ended up 21st in the feature event. If you get a chance after the races, go down and check out the front of that car. They got some really interesting geometry going on that machine. 75 lining up next to him, Dustin Peck. Another driver last year going toe-to-toe with the National Tour drivers, ended up on the bronze step of the podium. A little bit of a rough outing when we were back here in August, 8th in your Elliott's Custom Trailers and Carts semi-feature event. We'll see what he can do from the outside of the front row here in Car IQ Heat Race number 4. We're back after it.
So the wall will be a little bit eager on the start, but it's going to be Dustin Beck and J.J. Hughes at the front of this one. C.J. Leary now gets around J.J. Hughes. He's running second to Dustin Beck.
Working down to the inside of the entrance to number 3. Keep an eye on the 12 of Robert Blue, working that bottom line. He runs in the 3rd spot right now. Then it's going to be Carson Garrett running at 4th, and J.J. Hughes going to get shuffled back to 5th. Ballou trying the inside. Looked like he might have hooked one of those tires that's kind of peeking up out of the infield there. Kind of got the car upset. In fact, he's going to run the left front right over the top of one over into number 3. Brings it to the inside of the 15X. The 15X is going to go after the race into the 75. Side by side of the back straightaway. Beck going to hold on.
Robert Ballou trying to make the inside of the racetrack work as C.J. Leary on that last lap went to the top side. Dustin Beck going to occupy that line. This time C.J. Leary in the middle and Robert Ballou on the bottom. They are tail to tail right now.
Boy, they were nearly 3 wide around to the front straightaway. Leary going to go ahead and hang the Hoosiers down to the back straightaway. Ballou still chasing. Robert may have showed that inside line a little bit early. The 15 kind of adjusting his approach as caution light's going to come on for the 2J. Booten coming to a stop over in turn number 2. Caution lights dark. Pasadena Energy start can Beck. Trying to hold off 2 of the best in USAC National Sprint Car Competition. Ballou going to change up his line. He's going to run a diamond that time. Goes high to low. Sets his sights on Leary. Leary going to beat him to the punch down to the bottom side of the speedway. Robert once again going to go to the outside. This time all the way to the high side. Around to the front straightaway. Still running in 3rd.
All 3 of the top 3 in this Car IQ Heat Race number 4 trying every single line for all their worst. C.J. Leary going to have to move up in front of the 12 of Robert Ballou that time to keep him behind him.
Whose line is it anyway? Well, it's everybody's right now as they work around to the front straightaway. Dustin Beck continues to hold on to it. C.J. Leary still right there. Robert Ballou diamonds it over in turns 1 and 2. Once again, big run onto the back straightaway. He's able to get a monstrous launch off of turn number 2. Gets on the back bumper of Leary. Just not able to clear as they work down to the 3rd and 4th turns. As now he's going to have the other side of the BGE Darty Motorsports team right there. 3 wide for the lead. They split the 75, and it's going to be Leary on the outside with the advantage.
So the top side making the win on that one. It's not quite over yet. There are still 3 laps to go this time. C.J. Leary, your leader.
Starting to talk about Carson Garrett coming up there and maybe putting his name into the mix, and all of a sudden they were 3 wide. And C.J. Leary on the outside jumping up into the race lead now with clean racetrack ahead of him. He's going to start to run away from Robert Ballou a little bit. 2 to go.
Robert Ballou going to try to pick up some more speed. He moves further up on the racetrack. C.J. Leary going to just try to hold on to this one and salvage what was an unfavorable qualifying effort and try to pick up a better starting spot. The white flag is out for C.J. Leary.
Final time around, Robert Ballou has made up some ground here. Goes to the high side of 1. Does he dive it down to the bottom of a turn number 2? Can't quite get the car to rotate down. Still has speed onto the back straightaway through turns 3 and 4. Checker flag going to drop in this one. C.J. Leary picks up the heat race win. Robert Ballou in 2nd, Dustin Beck in 3rd, Carson Garrett in 4th, J.J. Hughes, Donnie Brackett, Colton Booten, and Gunnar Setzer. Unofficially rounding out your field. But your winner, ladies and gentlemen, he comes out of Greenfield, Indiana, driver of the Altos Power Equipment, BGE Darty Motorsports, Highsmith Guns, Valvoline, one-way DRC number 15X race fans. Give him a hand, C.J. Leary, as we go down trackside to Drake.
C.J. Leary has done just about everything you could want to do in a USAC National Sprint Car career. He's won all 4 titles that you could possibly win in a season. Of course, still chasing after that Master Going Faster title presented by Spire Sports and Entertainment, but he would love to add a Haubstadt Hustler win to that list. And CJ, Dustin Beck, that first run was all the way around the top, and then on that second run, he kind of changed things up. At that point, with how the racetrack is right now, are you just kind of in the mode of, hey, I got to go wherever they aren't?
Yeah, you know, and then I saw Robert poking his nose, and I felt like I was faster on the top, but I didn't want to leave the door open for Robert to get his nose in there. So I feel like I couldn't hit my qualifying laps very good. I felt like we had a fast race car. Just want to thank Doug and Brock for a heck of a season. Wish we could have been a little bit better all year, but Shout out to my mom and dad. My mom's been in the hospital, so it's been a struggle at home, but she's going to make a full recovery, and hopefully we can be good in this feature.
CJ Leary collects heat race win number 7 on the season in Car IQ heat race number 4.
Down behind the grandstands on the back straightaway. Thank you very much, Christy, as she will make her way back down to report trackside. Brady Bacon down to his merchandise trailer, signing autographs. If you want to go pick up a brand new Brady Bacon t-shirt, hat, hoodie, or sweatshirt and have him sign it down there. Also, Mark Wolf. You need to howl on over to the USAC merchandise trailer. You are tonight's AMSOIL inside the oval. You and a guest. Going to ride in the pace truck here tonight. Logan Seavey also headed to his merchandise trailer. So you have Bacon, you have Seavey headed back there. So on your way there, make sure you get a Haubstadt Hustler t-shirt as well. Again, we go down to our model here in the grandstands. Let's take a look at that design. It is fantastic.
Great looking shirts. Race fans, once again, limited quantity on those Haubstadt Hustler 2024 t-shirts.